Hello. Good to see you.
Alright there, Revenants, welcome back to Code Vein and the Road to 100, where today we are starting our 75th star. Yay! And so we are going to be discussing a blood code, as you can see here, all the way through 75 stars. So Prometheus is a very, very, very interesting gift, or blood code, as it is uniquely situated to do almost anything and everything that you would want it to do. It's kind of one of those blood codes that once you get a hold of it, it's a really, 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 really good blood code in a whole lot of ways. And today we're going to highlight the fact that it does have some pretty good stamina overall, and when paired with Jack and Stamina Stimulant, you can go very high here to 357 stamina, and then if you use a stamina booster, you can go up to 407, and if you wanted to, instead of having damage reduction, you could go for morale boost all the way up to 507, and so that is, let's see, 50, and then Jack, and then this, so 457, sorry, 457, and so you can get some pretty crazy numbers here for stamina and the values that you can go up to, and that has incredible synergy with Blade Dance. So stamina and Blade Dance is kind of like a damage boost in and of itself, just to have more stamina to attack more often, to get more hits in, because every single time that you get a weapon attack off to connect with an enemy, you get a 5% increase to your base damage. And so if you get 15, or let's say you get 16 swings in, that's an 80% increase to your damage, you know. And as of right now, with 357, we can get 21 swings per stamina bar if we're just standing still. And so that is a 105% increase to our damage, basically doubling and then some our damage. And if we wait for another stamina bar, we can take that to 210% damage, so almost a tripling, pretty much a tripling of our damage overall per swing. So here, you know, just one swing, that is a tripled amount of damage, which we are at 991 right now, so it would be doing on the order of 3,000. And if we go for Bridge to Glory, 1600, right? And so that can get exceptionally high, exceptionally fast, and so now we have Jack's morale boost, so we have 357. So this build here, this setup here for Prometheus is going to focus on the Burning Disaster and fighting these enemies by just slashing them a lot. We are not really going to use the gimmicks of the blade, or of the bayonet itself here, having access to the actual flamethrower part of it, but we will be focusing on the fact that we can run up to an enemy and do this, and you know, kind of almost one tap each of these enemies. And as we use Blade Dance, we will absolutely be destroying enemies along the way here. And you can see 6,000 damage, very, very fast, very, very easy. That is a great way to, you know, start out this 75 stars here, is to simply, you know, waste these guys with a build and a blood code that, you know, kind of shows that against super underpowered enemies, you're able to absolutely annihilate guys. Okay, so the running attack obviously has some problems, right? Because of the fact that because of the fact that you can't actually, what am I trying to say? Sorry, it's been a long day. Hang on, I just completely lost my thought. Wow. Absolutely just deadened my brain. But I do have chocolate chip cookies, and that is also another thing we are going to be bringing along with us, is cookies during each and every one of these runs here. and so those will be snacked on in the background here as we go through. So you can see that we're just kind of steamrolling through these guys, and we have really no care about ichor. We have no care about damage or actual anything to do with the enemies here. Now obviously fire is not the greatest element in the game, and especially as you get deeper into the game. So these are some of the places where it can actually do very, very well for having access to a lot of fire damage against these guys, and so that's why we're going for the intensified right now. Now if we want to, we can go for the lightning version as well of this guy, and we can have a really, really high damage amount because then we will be having fire and lightning, and that will do exceptionally well. But right now we're just going to go for the intensified so we can get those high damage numbers. So 1797, and you can see that Blade Dance is not super acceptable here for adventuring, just because of the fact that we are not hitting guys very often. So 2144, we are coming up on all of these guys here. So that was another 10%. There's another 10%. And so you can see that the damage is starting to stack up. There's five. So you can see that the damage is starting to stack up to a point where we can one tap all these enemies as we go along here, and that is where Blade Dance starts to get crazy. But every 45 seconds, right, it ends, and so we got to start over and move along from there. So let's go ahead and heal up again, and we'll keep Louis right there where he's most useful to us, and then we will move over here into this area, and we will absolutely want to get Blade Dance going here early. Okay, so we can have a couple of attacks here on these guys before we get to the big dude down here. Okay, good, that's another 10%. Good, and we'll let that guy run around while we take care of the bayonets. Okay, good, and we'll run over here to bayonet. Okay, and 1, 2, oh, okay. There's one big huge 12,000 damage attack plunge, and since we have a 3 times multiplier on our attack plunges, we are able to take this 2,000 damage up to about 6 or so thousand, just because of a plunge attack. So this setup here is not even showing the numbers from Swift Destruction, as we are quick mobility, which is very, very, very nice. But we are super able and nimble and capable to put out as much damage as we need to, and these aren't even mid or late game enemies, and we can pretty much one-shot them regardless of which enemy it is, and how we are going about engaging with them. And because we do have pretty good crush defense at 47 plus the foul blood barrier, we are able to withstand Oliver pretty well, just because of the fact that we are having the Ivory Grace, which is obviously all of this stuff is kind of late game, super late game and stuff, but it doesn't diminish the fact of how we can go about engaging with these late game setups and everything kind of early on, and then you can use them later and everything, and early and often. And so this will give you a good understanding of, the kind of power outputs that you can set up here. And you can see that we're pretty much back to, one or two attacks per enemy, and because everything is so fast anyways with the swing pattern of the Burning Disaster, we never actually have to step back or back off from an engagement. And so here for Oliver, we will just go for a couple of items here and make sure that we have Blade Dance running, and we will just start slashing away here on Oliver, and we'll see how many slashes we can get in at this point. Okay, this and this. Okay, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, so 26 hits, and so that was from when we started to when we ended, we were able to more than double. It's 130% increase to our damage just by the 26 hits, and he doesn't actually have enough of a life bar to actually take us much farther than the 130%. So because by that time, his 78,000 HP has been expired, and so you can see just how fast you can burn through no pun intended, how fast you can burn through his HP with the Burning Disaster, and that you can absolutely stack up the damage. And since he's weak to fire, it's a great opportunity to use it. And also versus the butterfly in the next area for the parking garage and the parking deck, this would also be a very, very, very helpful, useful setup, because the butterfly is also weak to fire slash. And so this would be one of those setups that you would want to use against her. And even versus a couple of other bosses here through the game. Obviously not Emily, but a lot of them, can take damage to fire, and because it does have a significant increase to its fire damage from regular weapons, so this has a 60, which is a 30% damage value for fire, and if we go here, that's a 50% increase for fire. And so it's interesting that most enemies have like a 10, 20, 30% resistance to fire, and so if you use this weapon, you can either gain 10, 20, or 0, 10, or 20% damage increases to most of the bosses that you're going to come across. So pretty awesome weapon. Definitely not very useful in a lot of ways for bayoneting, but that's okay. We don't need it to bayonet because with Prometheus you can do a lot of strength and dex business, and you can do it very, very well. And you can see here that this thing scales like a monster off of strength and dex for its damage values. And since we are B+ in both of those, we can take it to some pretty high levels here. So anyways, we'll be in the parking deck next, and we'll have another Prometheus build for you relating to, something completely different. None of these are actually really going to follow, identical patterns or paths. There will be a couple of interesting ones as we go through here, and most of them are going to kind of make fun of a lot of the bosses, because Prometheus is just a very, 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 very good blood code. So if you haven't used Prometheus much, definitely hold on to it and keep it in mind. It's one of those that you do get very, very, very early on, but it has a lot of late game gifts. And if we take a look here, Hasten, very good. Blade Dance, very good. Eternal Blade Dance is average to low good. One-handed sword mastery, very good. Deft parry, very good. Very high skill ceiling. Savvy evasion, very good. Firestorm is a stagger weapon. It's okay. Flame weapon is okay, and Phantom Assault is okay. Warding mark is pretty trash. That is not really important, but there are some really great options here that you can have from Louis' Blood Code. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for the parking deck. Take care. Have a good one.